All right, welcome. So tonight uh is week 8, and so 7 and 8 that we're halfway through the semester exactly. And I wanted to spend this live time kind of going over the last assignment, this assignment, seeing if there's any questions, anybody have any problems, helping you any way I can, looking at the syllabus to figure out where we are in the grand scheme of the semester. Um, Talking a little bit about where we are in the book, which is exactly uh, moving into paths to recovery. So moving from the science to application and treatment, which is my favorite part. And so, uh, yeah, so let's start. We're halfway through. You probably got an email about registering for classes. And so before we talk about the class, I just want to see if anybody has problems, if you didn't get like advising, like if maybe your advisor took sick leave or whatever or isn't available. But let me first see if there's any questions about registration or advising or something I can help you with because that's coming up soon. Yes. Speak up so everybody can hear you.
Give the class offered online. Don't know if I'm do that because I'm an in-person student, but those no in-person sections. And I need to take.
I got you. So, right,
I think it's the current issues, it's school counseling is one of them.
right. Yeah,
I think there's 2 sections for research, so that should be fine, but I'm worried about that one because like.
right. So the question is, if you are a face-to-face person and the classes are only offered online. Okay. So my answer to that is, I'm guessing there would be a problem, so we want to prevent a problem ahead of time. Okay. Right.
It says that they're not all applicable, but like I don't know what to do about
Right. So, Dr. Julaine Field, she's our assistant chair and she's kind of in charge of this. And so sh either Dr. Field or Dr. Painter have the power to register you on computer and to bypass that. The average professor doesn't. So what I would do is explain the problem, email Dr. Field, Dr. Painter, and CC your advisor. Make sure your advisor knows what's going on, me in this case, but whoever it might be. So, for example, if you're in school counseling, some of the classes that are in the education department, so one would be English language learners, the other one would be a special education class. Right. They're both online, but they might have a prerequisite, or you might have to be in the education department or something like that. So that might even be a problem if you're online in school counseling. So my answer is let's let's address the problem before registration, before the classes fill up. And or if it's not in the education department, it's in the counseling department, but only online. Okay. So yeah. So write to both Painter, Field, CC your advisor. What, for instance, I'm your advisor, so when I get it, I'll respond to Dr. Field and Dr. Painter. I'll say, I don't have the power to get her in this class. Can you help me out? Just so I acknowledge that you talked with me. Yeah. I would send it like now. Yeah. Yeah. Or whenever you, yeah. The sooner the better. Yeah. When you're nearing the end of the degree, there's not as many classes that you need. So like you got to get in them. I understand. Yeah. What else? Problems, questions?
Um, I had a question.
Go ahead.
So I have taken enough credits to do my candidacy, but the issue is when I was looking to sign up for it, I never got access to the new like to the program orientation. And that's required in order to apply for candidacy. So like I don't know what to do because I know it's supposed to be on D2L, but I never like I don't have it on my D2L. I never have.
Okay. So Dr. Painter is in control of the orientation,
Okay.
and he can simply send you a link that so you can watch it. Um, but right now, when do you need to take candidacy?
Well, so I was eligible for it by this past summer, but again, I didn't have the link. So when I talked to my advisor, she told me, "Oh, don't worry, we'll just postpone it to the fall and we'll get you your orientation by the end of the fall semester," but I still don't have it. And I haven't gotten any emails about applying for candidacy this semester either.
So they do send an email out to everybody about applying for candidacy,
Okay.
and I know it was a little
Maybe I
while
missed
ago.
it. Okay, then I missed it. Then I didn't
Right.
see it.
But the problem is, I don't want this to hold up your graduation, or your practicum.
Right.
When do you need to do practicum?
I see that's the thing. I have to meet with my advisor anyways, because when I originally got accepted in the program, I intended on being part-time,
Yeah.
but now I want to go full-time. So now we have to figure out like what I need to do, or am I going to have to prolong it because like that might not be enough time to like prepare for my practicum.
Okay.
So I have to figure all that out. I'm meeting with my advisor soon, like towards the end of the semester, getting ready for the winter and everything.
So why not just meet with them like this week?
Yeah.
You don't have to wait till the end of the semester
No.
to meet with your advisor.
Yeah, that was just when she said, but I do like it is starting to stress me out a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't really wait, if this is stressing you out. So for example, I know you'll be able to watch the orientation. They just have to give you the link, you know.
Okay.
So or put it on your D2L. So I know that should be an easy fix. The more difficult thing is figuring out. So the last 4 semesters are candidacy, practicum, clinical field 1, clinical field 2. Or it could be your last 3 semesters, candidacy, practicum, and both clinical fields at once. So when you're just thinking about when you want to graduate and how many more credits you need, you can think about how many classes you want to take a semester. Could be 3, could be 4. If you're moving into full time, it's either 3 or 4. And divide that by the number of semesters, and you can take 3 classes or 4 classes, see how many classes you got left, count back 3 semesters, and that's the minimum you would need to start practicum.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But don't wait. Yeah, just make an appointment now. Yeah. I'm sure they can fix it. Yeah.
I'm not much about, but I know we have a counseling opportunity on this campus at the school.
Yeah, Chi Sigma Iota.
How they invited to that,
Um,
and we recommend.
so you don't need to be invited.
So I went on the website and it's like you can only apply with an invitation.
Like
'Cause
the
I-
national website or,
I
yeah.
love the thing, it was like, please like upload your invitation. I was like, what is that?
So I think the only thing that's required is completing a certain number of credits, like 2 semesters,
Yeah.
and a certain GPA, which in graduate school most have.
Yeah, so you can only get 2 Cs and you
So,
can.
so right. So if you want to be in Chi Sigma Iota, now Dr. Walsh used to be the coordinator of Chi Sig, um, but she's off this semester. So I'm thinking, who took that over? Hmm.
On their website, at least, it asked me for my invitation, and I was like,
No, I think you could just
I'll
say I'd like to be
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be like, I mean, now you know I exist, so. you don't
Yeah,
have to
that's
send
that's
me
like a
the-
local yeah, that's through Penn West, and I think it's more like uh
I didn't want to get started on that. In practice, I mean, summons,
yeah, so I'm reading it's different for art therapy. So clinical mental health, you have to apply after earning 15 credits as well, and art therapy. The
summers where I got my 15th credit.
Yeah, for field work, we have to pass certain prerequisite courses beforehand. Yeah, clinical mental health has to also. You have a list of courses. Get into fieldwork courses. Every graduate student has to have at least a B average to remain in the program. So I think that's the same, Sarah. Yeah, good. Um, yeah, so I just need to find out who's running Chi Sig.
If it's somewhere, say I can.
It's not because Dr. Walsh, you'll see it's Dr. Walsh, but she's not here this semester. She's off this semester.
And
That's
do you-
why.
do you recommend
Absolutely. Everybody should join Chi Sig. It's an honors fraternity
joining?
and looks great on your resume. Most counseling professionals recognize it.
That's
And
pretty good.
yeah, so it's not expensive.
That was my next question.
You know, I don't know what it costs, but it's for students. It's for students. So I know it's a lot less than like my regular fraternity.
It's not.
And there's no pledging. Pledging is getting good grades. Yeah, yeah. All right, what else? Yeah.
Plan of study that we put together. So I just maybe kind of wanted to see which classes to take
All right, so
next in order.
after class, I'll email you a curriculum sheet, classes highlighted that you need for practicum or field, and a plan of study that you can fill in. But Dr. Field and Dr. Painter are taking over the advisors who are on leave. Yeah.
So I took all the required ones for practicum.
Okay, that's
but
good
instead
then.
Suggested that you should maybe take family counseling and before you take research, or you don't really want to take research when you're in internship, or if there's like things that are.
Yeah,
or
not
specific
really.
ones.
Once you get done those required classes for practicum, I think it's whatever order you want, but you know, but I will tell you that I would meet with either Dr. Field or Painter because they're taking over the 2 professors, Dr. Lepore and Dr. Walsh, who are on leave.
And then a second question, I noticed all the winter classes are online asynchronous, and as an in-person student, we would still be able to. sign
Yeah.
up for that.
So yeah, so winter classes, they're all posted now. If you want an elective during the winter, they're 5 weeks. They are all asynchronous, both face-to-face and online can register for them. So if you need an elective, you want it done in 5 weeks over break, it's a good option. Grief and loss is a great one.
Did it play?
Yeah. Yeah, Yeah, I'll send it to the class.
Okay.
All right, so if you're in art therapy, ignore my email later. I'm just gonna send the clinical mental health and school counseling to everybody. I don't have the art therapy curriculum or plan a study sheet, but so ignore it if you're in art therapy. Everybody wants it. All right, let's keep going. Go ahead.
For next semester.
So I'm not teaching research next semester.
Says the requirements to be in the graduate or doctoral program. I am. It said to be in the counseling program. I am. And there was something else and it was like, okay, I'm not clinical mental health, but I'm regular counseling. And it says that I'm restricted.
Is it online?
No, I mean, the section that
Or
yours was
your
on
name.
was in person.
Oh, yeah, I don't know why they have my name on it. but-
Can we sign up for spring classes now?
You can make it play. You
Oh,
can see
okay,
the
I was
whole,
gonna say.
like, plan.
Yeah, the
So I
one
know
that
what
your
class
name
it
was
is.
on, because I was looking to see, because the other one is online. So I was like, well, if I can't get into that, then I need to see what the other one is. And it says that I'm.
Hmm. Well, now I have to contact them because my name's on it, so I'll ask them why it's restricted. Yeah, that's weird. There are no classes at 2.
Let's maybe 2:45, and then I wanted to take a class at 4.
Yeah, there's a ton of them on it over.
Wow.
So, and it also, it lists the same professor, but they're 2 different classes.
Yeah, so there are normally our classes are either 4 o'clock or 7 o'clock. So if it's like listed at 2 something, I would probably say it's a mistake. Or yeah, a placeholder or something. Wow. Wow. Yeah.
You know, two names for her to go through if your advisor was on leave. Will you say those names again?
Dr. Field, Field, or Painter. Yep. All right. How about online? A lot of you are probably in art therapy, but they got their act together.
I don't have any specific questions right now, but I'm in clinical mental health counseling and I'm your advisee that once class is over, we were gonna stay
Okay.
on Zoom.
Excellent.
Yep, I just wanted to remind you.
All right. I'll stick around.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. All right. All right. Well, I just wanted to see, because I know this is coming up. I know a couple professors are on leave, and I've been getting a lot of questions. So I just thought I'd dedicate a few minutes to see if anybody needed any help with that. So let's look at where we are on the syllabus. All right. So tonight, assessment and screening, but also chapters 13 and 14 in the book. And so we are not doing a discussion board tonight because everybody should be working on the psychological first aid projects. So I'm not going to have you do a discussion board this week because you should all be working on that project. When we have a big project like that due, we won't do a discussion board. Next week we will. But then, well, suicide assessment. You have a lot of assignments, and they're all pretty big assignments. So, you should be done with the ACEs project, and you should be working on psychological first aid. And the next one is suicide assessment. Believe it or not, suicide assessment shouldn't take that long, not as long as these. We don't have anything over Thanksgiving break. You'll also notice that we're moving into more experiential stuff. So a lot of the lectures, half of the time will be experiential. So I'll talk about EMDR. Oh, that should be a good one, psychedelic medication. Wow. So we don't have that much left. But let's talk first about I'm grading the ACEs projects now in the previous discussion board. It takes me a while to watch all the videos, but that should be done by next class, and then that's when the psychological first aid projects are due, and then I'll start grading those. But I won't get too far behind. And but let's talk about the last project, the ACEs project. Are there any questions or comments? Was the one of my problems is that I did not create these projects, but they want all the students to do similar projects because they're all required by KCREP, and we all feel that these are topics that you should know, you know, and by the end, you should have a foundational knowledge of uh, counseling and trauma. And so I think it was Dr. Field who designed a lot of these projects, and she's an expert in this as well. And so I just don't feel like I own the project, like I could really change a lot of it, you know. But I want to see if you have any questions or reactions or to the ACEs. Did it go smoothly? Did you feel like it was the instructions were understandable, you were able to follow through with it and complete it without too much anxiety? Okay. Yeah, Hannah.
In this situation, we were the ones kind of scoring the ACEs
Right.
for the client.
Yeah.
In an experience when you're with the client, would you give them the assessment to fill out themselves? Or is it
That's a good
always-
question. So that's a good question. So there's two ways to go about this. One is a therapist can provide a score. I actually find it sometimes helpful to have the client do their own scoring. And then I kind of see if they match up what my scoring would be. If there's a big difference in the scoring, we talk about it. And so that really comes down to a perception of severity. And I always side with the client. The client knows themselves the best. So, you know, I would definitely take note. Oh, well, here you have a really high score on this. I scored it lower. Let's talk about that. And not to change their score, but just so I can better understand. Because if I scored it low, then I didn't understand something that I need to know. Yeah. And there's a lot of, like, I even gave you the link. You could answer your own questions, and it'll give you your score. That's what most do, you know. Most therapists let them answer the questions and they get an electronic score. Yeah. So most of that has moved to that electronic score sheet. What else? Would anybody change anything about the assignment, or was it good? All right, that's good. All right, how about the project you're working on now, psychological first aid? You got another week to work on that. It's due before next class. How can I help you with that?
There was a bit of confusion at first, at least when I was reading it, I didn't work here. I wasn't sure if I was something I was gonna do about like the length of the videos, and I'll just repeat the question for anybody else that might have it, but, the videos is 15 minutes, and I was asking.
Yeah, it says the video, I just want to repeat it for them. It says the video is 15 minutes.
Comes out again, and I thought.
So you got kind of the role play and a discussion. And I'm okay. Some people might have done 2 videos. If you already did that, that's fine. But you can put them together. You can do the role play and move into a discussion about it. That's okay. So either way you did it, I'm okay with it.
15 minutes? Or?
Yeah, I mean,
so in total-
it should be 15 minutes or longer. Let's go with that.
For both sessions. both-
Well, I mean, that's a minimum.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, a discussion about it.
Yeah, it's
Right.
15 minutes of role play and then 15 minutes of discussion.
Right. So, I mean, I don't like setting specific times on these things. So what I'm going to say is the role play needs to be what you think is enough to demonstrate what needs to be demonstrated.
Watch like 12, 30.
Yeah, I don't want to watch like an hour video.
That sounds bad. So I was thinking sure I didn't record too much.
Right. So, I mean, I would say between 15 and 25 minutes at the most.
For the whole project.
Yeah, yeah, but not less than 15
Yeah, no,
minutes.
I'm
Yeah,
asking less.
right. Yeah,
All you decide.
I'm good with that. So do the role play, make sure you demonstrate enough, and then talk about it. Yeah,
So. Scenario my partner and I picked, we're looking at number 3 of your grading, which is stabilization if needed. I think that's the word. If I don't need to address it for our scenario, it's okay not to.
so the question is, there is one part, stay with the patient if needed. So what I'm saying is, in your role play, hopefully you won't need to stay with the patient, right? I mean, hopefully they're not suicidal or need an ambulance or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. So if you want to address that question, you can simply say, this was not needed. Yeah. How about online? How's it going? Okay. All right. That's good. That's good. All right. Well, then we'll move on. So at first, I had this week only assessment and screening, but I wanted to divide the chapters up because like chapter 18, 17, 16, 15, they have some experiential component to them that I usually want to do in class or you can do on your own if it's recorded. So I added 13 and 14 to this, but I'm going to go over some of the assessment resources tonight with you, so you have a good feel for them. I don't believe that you're going to need to use these assessment tools that I show you tonight in an assignment, but I still think they're useful to know as a therapist because, well, I'll show you what each assessment tool is for. They're very specific, okay? So like one is assessing PTSD in veterans, you know? So you're going to need those, but I don't think we include them in an assignment. I'm just saying explore it, read about it, try them out if you want, And I provided a link for every single tool that you can access. But with that being said, if we go to content tonight and we go to week 8, and it should be live now, the first 2 lectures are on the book, so you can watch them on your own. And in the first lecture, I talk about emotional regulation and stress inoculation, and I actually do it with you. And it's an experiential thing, you know? So, so at least, you know, try it out. Okay. And the second one, chapter 14, there's an experiential component. It's a technique about walking as if, not acting as if, walking as if. And it's just a demonstration of coming back into contact with one's own physical body. And it's an interesting technique. And it sounds very simple, but I did it myself and it was meaningful to me. And so at least see what it's like. See what these techniques are like. Try it at home, you know? So we're moving into that experiential component of the book. And in every single lecture, I'm actually going to teach or demonstrate or ask you to try some experiential technique. And, you know, and I'm not saying, you know, use this for your own deeper issues or trauma, you know, you can just try it out without getting too deep. So like, for instance, walking as if. So I always had a hard time relating with my dad. You know, he was in World War II. He was in the military his whole life. Um, you know, I guess I was a hippie. So, so we clashed quite a bit. And it was hard for me to empathize when I was younger. Now I can really empathize with him. But so walking as if, imagine somebody else in your life that you have a hard time connecting with. And imagine what it might like to be them empathically, you know? And so, and then go for a walk as if you were walking like they were. And I thought about it and I'm like, wow, yeah, I have a hard time connecting with my dad. And I I'd like to be able to have more empathy with him and understand him better. So I'm gonna walk like my dad. And I'm thinking, well, what does my dad walk like? What would that be like for him? And I'm thinking about everything he went through and being in the war and being in the military. So I decided to go for a walk and march around like I was in the military. And it it gave me kind of this physical aspect and it added to my empathic understanding of who he was. And I kind of tuned into his experiences and his patriotism and personal meaning and uh so that's the exercise in the second lecture on chapter 14 that I'd like you to try. But I also talk about, a lot of other things. But that's an example of kind of experiential things that we'll be doing in each class. You know, a long time ago, not everybody did yoga, but so many people do yoga now. But I do have uh, a whole recorded yoga session to do as a class. And, so there's lots of interesting experiences. And they might be different, like maybe you do yoga all the time. And, but, uh, this demonstration was done by, a counseling student who chose a very specific yoga routine for, counseling. And so even if you've done it before, you may find something new, you know. So I tried to make the second half of this semester more experiential. And so just all I'm asking is that you try it out, try it out. All right. So the next thing I want to go over in this live class is I want to look at all of the different links that I provided this week. You can watch chapter 13 and chapter 14. You can try out the experiential things on your own. And next week I'll ask you, I'll say, well, let's talk about the experiential component. What was emotional regulation like for you? What was stress inoculation like for you? What was walking as if like for you? And I'm hoping we can have a little discussion and you can share some things about your experiences. But the rest of this is not in a recorded lecture, and it's not in an assignment either. But I think each one of these is an important resource. So I just want to take a few minutes and look at each one of these links, and then you can explore each link on your own. Some might interest you more than others. Maybe you have a interest in some more than others. So spend more time with those, you know. But there's no grade or anything associated with these. It's just a resource for you. So the first one is NCTSN. It's a screening process. If it works. Let me get it going here. I did test all these, so they do work. Well, let's see if a different one works. Okay, so this one is CAT. I think we also have one for ACAT. Yeah, CAT and ACAT. And so each one is a different website. So CAT, you'd think it would stand for something more, but Crisis Assessment Tool. And the nice thing is most of these are free and you can download resources. This one, the video isn't available. It used to be. Somebody must have changed it to private. But this video isn't that important because everything that is important is down below and on the right. And so here you have CAT downloads, and for instance, this is the resource guide, and you can click on the download. And it gives you the whole reference guide. And so this is a pretty nice tool. It talks about the crisis assessment tool, risk behaviors, juvenile behavior, emotional needs. It's like a free book. And I think they're all they all provide this. So when I found each one of these resources, I was pretty psyched about it. That here's the rating sheet to it. That's a download also. And then different assessment tools. So this one, but so I liked you referencing the crisis assessment tool, but there's others here too that you can check, like risk. Okay. So let's see what else. So ACAT, this is the adult crisis assessment tool, 21 and up. So one is for children in crisis, one is for adults in crisis. Both are fairly recent, within the last 3 years. They updated them all, and I would honestly just download each guide or book and keep it as a resource on your computer. It's free, you know? The next one is CANS, the Child and Adolescent Needs and Strengths Trauma Comprehensive Resource List. Now, this is kind of like a resource library, and it talks about all different types of trauma. So complex trauma, racial trauma, transition age youth, virtual trauma, abbreviated versions. And then this is what they're working on right now. And then they also have archived resources. All of these are in Adobe Acrobat PDF files. So you can download every single one of those as a PDF file. So let's say, I'm not saying you have to click on all of these, but you might be interested in one topic. Check that one out. You know, everybody's interested in different topics in trauma and counseling. Like when I started out, I was really interested in youth. So I would have checked that out. All right. I just like it that you can download these. All right. ANSA. So this does have a video. If the video is available, it's worth watching. They're usually pretty short. And it just gives you a brief overview of it. I think this is at the same website, but I just gave you a link for each of the most important tools. And then down here, there's two PTSD assessment tools. One is for veterans. And so this is through Department of Veteran Affairs. And, you know, I think this is probably the most comprehensive guide for PTSD for veterans. So if you're interested in working with veterans or veterans' families, I think this is the place to go. So a lot of people think it's just veterans, but their families need just as much support as well. One of the highest instances for divorce and suicide. This one, the ACA, you know what ACA is, but ACA also has its own list for PTSD, not just for veterans, for anybody who's experienced PTSD. And what I like about this is here you can actually just link to articles or resources, and this is through American Counseling Association. And then this one, I gave you the main website page, but you really want to go to clinical resources on this. I couldn't just link to that tab, and there's a lot of things under each section on the tab. Um, so, so you go from adult trauma assessments, child and adolescent trauma and assessments. You can submit your own assessment, and then it goes down to treatment guidelines. It even talks about like vicarious trauma, and then it gives you specific materials. So I would say, try to get your assignment complete and then just spend some time browsing each one of those links, download the resources that you think you might use as a counselor. You can just use it as a reference. You don't have to read the whole thing right off the bat. But let's say you get a client that's struggling with a specific issue with trauma, and you'd have that right at your fingertips. And the other thing is, you won't have access to D2L or this course after the course is over. So you might just want to keep, like, not just for this course, but any course that gives you resource links. Like I started keeping like just a collection of the resource links for each class. So like all of the links in this class, since you won't have access to them after the class, I just click on them and then save it in a computer folder so that you can just click on it later. You don't have to look it up. It's hard to remember all these acronyms for each one of them, but I definitely wanted to access them later, depending on what type of client I had. So I just started keeping a collection by class. I'd open a folder and I'd drag links into that folder. All right, so no discussion board. I just want to make sure it's not listed here. Yeah, there's no discussion board in D2L. Just finish your project, email me if you're having any problems with it, and explore the links. And then watch the other 2 lectures on the book, especially so that you can try out the experiential learning activities, and then we'll talk about them next week. All right, questions, comments? All right, stick around if you need advising. All right. That's good. That's good.
Luckily, you already.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
So I might as well do it with balance it over for another semester and have it be all over again.
No, do it now. Do it now. Yeah.
Classes for the spring will get switched around, so it's wrong right now. Because assessment.
I've got to ask them. Right.
Seems certainly overlap. So like, is it even worth putting it in my plan right now, or?
One computer for one class, one for the other, just do both.
Yeah.
2 different.
Maybe combine.
On Saturday.
It's listed as doctor and then teaching both. They also overlap.
I've been.
And then I also, one of the other classes I want to take, that's 7 that night too, so.
One of them.
Let me email everybody so that June, you can look at this too.
Okay.
I'm gonna email a curriculum sheet and a plan.
Mine stuff, synchronous,
From what,
and I understand that. But I think you should still hard to switch to like.
And I'm like, and no one cared for not. Yeah, oh, there's so much time.
I don't know how I let some of them break it.
So we don't have some big projects, now no, of course.
And that's my team. That's my
Wait, you should do the little, you should do the request things, the whole request.
I'll send the email out and then hopefully I'll hear back by next week.
Yeah.
I'll hear by next week. So I'll-
Okay.
He was like, Mike isn't.
Yes.
Let me send this.
I'm so.
I don't have any questions. I just have plans to hear and set up some state.
Yeah, I'm here for your original review.
Should I have just kept teaching till 7
Teach us your second class.
so you could
I think
stay?
there's one person, yeah.
All right, let's see.
It's just, my house next door, I would have kissed off those, but.
Yeah, she's in the class, yeah. We don't want to buy the seat.
I
If you empty your teaching the only Zoom people, I feel so bad whenever I see it.
I wish I could do it again.
I think that's something I think to myself, what just ever happens? She's gonna come down here and do it.
Listen, I had a slight small and that's a great dentist. She's gone now, but I was like, fine. Yes, she's ready. It's just.
No, I'm gonna say that.
Cause then I emailed, Ada that class and then we talk about our project as well.
Is that possible that if when I do my degree canvas interview, they're gonna be like, yeah, no, she's gonna be a helpful counselor and you'll pass?
Oh, you have a plan.
Because I'm so nervous, because it's on Wednesday, and I'm really freaking nervous. I read some about it, I read the email they sent out, and like basically, the stuff that they're asking is very similar to the interview. You get
Mine
around like
was never.
similar questions and like.
Yeah, so candidacy is more like, how, yeah, what else do you need to work on to be a good counselor? What have you learned so far? What did you read? Let's talk about that. There might be an ethics situation. What would you do if? Something like that. But you won't be alone. You'll have like 4 other students with you.
And they all do the same.
And it's on Zoom, so they won't see me tapping my hand like this.
You all take turns.
They won't see me go like. They're on Zoom, they'll just see me being professional down at the table, I'll be like.
All right, I sent it an email.
Hmm.
Are you're in clinical mental health?
Yep. Yeah, this is my first semester in the program.
Okay, so wait till you get it in your email. Pull up the clinical mental health curriculum sheet that has yellow highlights.
All right.
This next year, I have my 4 classes set up. Wait till I get the schedule. And then also go through the wonderful process of being like, hey, when I apply, I
No.
promise I could do the same. So instead of those online only classes to work on something. Really, well, they could let me in, but I get students for.
Right.
They're like,
And it's at 2 o'clock, if I'm doing it, like, that's not gonna work anyway.
well, it's exactly what we did.
I'm not gonna leave her at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna ask about it. All right, did you pull up the sheet?
It's coming slowly but surely.
Okay,
I did receive it though, at least. My computer just kind of sucks a little bit.
it's okay. I'll pull it up and share it.
Okay.
but at least you got it. Oh,
That's a
thanks for telling me. I need to stop recording. Let's see, how do I,
Now a group is down.
let's see how I stop recording there.
It's group and second half.